Hello and welcome. My name's Hayley and this is Divinity Tarot. Some of you may know that my dog passed away just over a week ago, and so I haven't been doing tarot readings online. But I did decide to do a personal reading for myself today about my dog, and what do I do now? Because I'm struggling. I'm struggling with the grief. It's been 1 week and 1 day today. I considered my dog Wolfie a soulmate. Like, the love was so intense and so unconditional between us that it couldn't have been anything else. And I just wanted to share with you, before she passed, in the weeks leading up to her death, she had cancer and she had surgery. She had 2 lots of surgery, the worst one being this year, of course. It was a really big surgery and she required a lot of care afterwards by me and my son. And anyway, right before the surgery, she wasn't able to have surgery straight away when I took her for the first visit about the cancer returning, because she was severely inflamed and, she had inflammation all throughout her lymphatics and she was in a lot of pain. So we had to put her on antibiotics before we could do the surgery. And on that first night, because she was so sick, so very sick, I didn't think she was going to make it through the night. The vet didn't think she was going to make it through that night. And to be honest, I don't think Wolfie thought she was going to make it through that night. And the next morning, just as I was coming out of dream, right on the astral, there's a difference. Anyone that's experienced this will know there's a difference between, what happens in real life, like someone talking to you in real life, or what happens in dream. And then there's a third reality, a third realm, and that's the astral. ASTRAL. That's the astral realm, and it's completely different. And anyway, that next morning, she came to me just after my dream and showed me a vision of her lying next to me on my bed, legs up in the air, and I was rubbing her belly, and we were both really enjoying it. And her belly felt like it was intact, like before the first surgery, because, she was quite mutilated in these surgeries. Her belly was, her poor belly. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, it was like she'd never had any of the surgeries, and we were both happy with patting her belly, because I never felt right patting her belly again after the first surgery, and she knew it. She picked up on that sadness. And anyway, she said to me in this vision, "I love you, Mummy," like in a dog voice. And it was her dog voice, and I knew it was her. And I woke up and she was standing right next to me, standing right next to my bed, and she was wagging her tail so hard, like she was so proud of herself. And I looked her in the eyes and I said, "Oh, baby, I love you too, baby." And she looked so happy that she'd done it. It was like she'd completed something, ticked something valuable off, and she was really happy with herself. And then in the weeks after the surgery, I slept downstairs on the couch for weeks with her because she couldn't go upstairs and she needed to be watched constantly. And I'd taken a lot of time off work, and, I was there with her. And a few of the mornings, again, it was coming out of dream right before I wake up. It's in that astral realm. I would hear these, like, 3 little barks, and it would always wake me up. I'd be like, huh? I knew she didn't actually bark. Like I tried to say, if you haven't experienced it, you don't understand, but those of you who have experienced the astral know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that it's different. You know it's not in real life. You know it's not dream. It's something completely different. And it's real. It's so real. And yeah, it's like someone telepathically putting something in your head. That's what it feels like. Anyway, yeah, she did that quite a few times in the weeks leading up to her death. And I didn't really know why. I didn't even really pay it that much attention, to be honest, until after she died. Yeah, when she passed away, on the first night, I was emotionally exhausted. And I tried to go to sleep as normal, close my eyes, and eventually sleep got me because I was so exhausted. And because you've got to remember, I didn't sleep the last 2 nights either before she passed because she couldn't lie down, she couldn't sleep. And I was worried about her, so I stayed awake with her. And yeah, exhaustion got me and I fell asleep. And when I did, I had a dream. I had a dream about Wolfie, and first of all, I was like happy to have this dream about Wolfie. Oh, there's Wolfie. And it felt like we were in this groomer's place, like I'd taken her somewhere to get groomed, because it was a like tiled floor. It was white. It was like sterile. I can't remember if tiled or linoleum or whatever it was, but it was like very sterile. And there was like this metal table, which I assumed first of all was like a groomer's table. And she was sitting on my left side and she was looking up at me, but I was looking away. I was looking at something on the table, and I was with others and I was talking to them and ignoring her. And she was looking at me like, come on, let's go home now. It was at that point that I realised that this was not the groomers, that table was the table she got euthanised on, and that was the vet clinic. And I woke up, and subsequently I haven't been able to sleep properly since. I've had to play podcasts every night just for, noise and nightlight, and I'll fall asleep out of desperation here and there. And I haven't had any real sleep for days and days and days now, but yeah. So it wasn't until last night when I was at work and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that dream and I'm like, oh my God, I know what that dream means. She was showing me. She was showing me what happened at the time of her death. She was showing me the moment that her soul left her body, that she had come out of her body and she was standing right next to me, looking up at me, wondering why no one was looking at her. It's like, come on, I'm all right now, let's go home. Oh, amazing that she sent me that. And anyway, the second night after she passed, I was sitting on my bed and meditating. I wanted to communicate with her. I had watched some videos about animal communication, animal mediumship, and I really wanted to communicate with her. So I did a meditation to try and raise my vibration, because I knew that grieving and fear and loss and sadness all lower your vibration. And, spirit has a very high vibration. So in order to communicate, you need to raise your frequency quite high. So I just thought of Wolfie and how much I loved her and my love for her and how happy I was with her and, the good times, and it raised my vibration. And suddenly I realised that I was looking at Wolfie's image. There's a futon in my bedroom right next to my bed where Wolfie would lie quite often. And anyway, when I first saw this image of her, it was a greyish, bluish outline image of her. But I could see her face, I could see her eyes, I could see her markings, But first of all, I could only see her face. And I was wondering why. It was a weird position that she was sitting on the couch, it looked, because I could only see her head. It's like, why is she so short? And why is she so close to the end of the couch? I couldn't work it out. But then slowly I started to see the rest of her body, and she was lying with her body covering the rest of the couch, and her head was right at the end of the couch. And then it made perfect sense, and her little arms were out in front of her like she always used to lie. She held this image for me for a good 20 minutes. She even changed position a few times, like changed her head position. And then she turned into this sphere, like a spherical bubble of the same colour, that greyish bluish colour, hazy. And she was this perfect sphere, and then it just disappeared. And the whole image was gone. I couldn't see her anymore. And then the house sort of went quiet. I really felt this void. I don't know if you've experienced pet loss, but, when they first leave, you feel this very emptiness in your house. It's so quiet, and you just feel that energy loss. The whole house just feels so empty. And, I hated that feeling, and it was like that for a while. But then I believe it was on Friday night. There was one other thing that happened. That's right, on Friday, I had made a kind of an altar for her in the lounge with her photos and a Malamute teddy that she played with a few times. I had to put it away because she nearly destroyed it. But I fixed it up, gave it a bit of a clean, put it on this table with her other stuff, her collar and leash, and I've got a whole bucket of her fur from her sheddings, and I'm very grateful for that. I take a bit of fur with her wherever I go, when I go for walks and when I go to work and stuff. I take it with me just so that she's with me. And I buried some of her fur in some of her favourite places. A little bit at the tree that she used to always sniff outside the dog park, and one at this other tree at the park where she used to like to lie down with me. Anyway, on Friday I did a meditation in the morning, and I asked her, is there anything you want to say to me, Wolfie? And I heard this ding-a-ling, like her collar. When a dog shakes their collar and you hear that little ding-a-ling. But it sounded distant. It sounded like it came from upstairs. So I went upstairs and I smelled the unmistakable smell of the vet clinic. You know how they use a lot of disinfectant and that. The particular vet that we go to had a very distinct smell to it. And I could smell that smell, and I was almost disappointed, like why would she show me that? I don't want to be reminded of that. And then I came back downstairs, and 20 minutes later I got a call from the vet, and they were like, Wolfie's ashes are here, ready for you to pick up now. Which was weird because I was told that it would take 7 to 10 days. I was told that by both the vet clinic and the crematorium, that it would take 7 to 10 days, which would actually be today. But yeah, that they arrived on Friday, which was really quick. She was cremated on the Thursday according to her certificate, which is another incident that happened. On the Thursday, I was actually biking in the area where the crematorium is, unbeknownst to me. I did not know that's where the pet crematorium was. I had kept wanting to look it up, but you know how you have intrusive thoughts like, where is it? I want to know where she is and all that, but I didn't let myself look up where it was because, you know, I didn't want to go past and then the smoke was coming out and it could have been her. Anyway, I happened to be going in that area, which is not actually that far from my house. Yeah, it's only a couple of minutes bike ride from my house, and I felt drawn to go in that area, and I actually went round the block twice, and I smelt what smelt like a really sweet smelling smoke. And I remembered saying to myself, my God, I bet that's Wolfie. She always smelled really sweet. Malamutes don't smell like dog. And every now and then her fur would have like a whiff of strawberry to it. It would smell really sweet. I don't know why, but it just did. And yeah, when I smelled that sweet smelling smoke, I was like, that's her. Well, I got the certificate and it said that she was cremated on the Thursday. And I went for a bike ride on I think it was Saturday, and I found the pet crematorium. And it was in that area that I kept being drawn back to, that block that I kept being drawn back to going around, where I smelled the smoke. I actually passed the crematorium a few times that day, and I believe that was her. And she was trying to draw me there. I don't know why. Like, even as I was going home, there's a place called Mayfair Park, and she kept wanting me to go in there. And if I'd gone, she was wanting me to go in there and then go down this side part. And if I'd come out that side part, I would have been like smack bang in front of the pet crematorium. But when I went up the driveway of this Mayfair Park thing, I was like, oh, all this feels wrong. And I turned around and went back out. So I was glad I didn't do that on the actual day. So yeah, that happened. And Friday night, she visited me on the astral again, and just one really loud, crisp, clear bark that woke me up. And I was so happy, and I was like, thank you so much, Wolfie. Thank you so much. You're so clever. And yeah, couple more nights I've had that bark again. I had it last night and the night before. Also, I realised, like when I saw the image of her on the couch, and also I got my son a new cat this week because the house felt so empty, particularly in those first few days. Like when I'm at work, my son's home alone, and when he's at his dad's, I'm home alone, so it can be really lonely. And we have a lot of love to give, so we got a cat. Her name's Sasha. She's black and white as well. And anyway, when I was trying to communicate with Wolfie, she really freaked out. And it reminded me of something. It was the cat freaking out about me communicating with Wolfie, combined with the fact that I'd seen Wolfie's image on the couch that night. And it reminded me of something that happened 20 years ago when I first moved to Australia. I did a meditation to find my spirit guide, and this wolf, what looked like, greyish, bluish outline of a wolf, came into my dining room where I was doing the meditation. My cat was there, and he saw this wolf and freaked out, and the wolf chased my cat around the dining room and knocked one of the dining table chairs over. and then it disappeared. And I knew after that that the wolf was my spirit wolf. Well, my dog Wolfie was named Wolfie after my spirit wolf because she looked like a wolf. Had I seen her in a meditation 20 years ago, I would have assumed she was a wolf. Yeah. So I believe that Wolfie has always been at my side, and I did this reading, and Hawk Spirit, I'm always watching you. Horse Spirit, she's free now, she's free of the pain. And Flamingo Spirit, embrace the in-between, meaning embrace the astral. And that's where she communicates with me. Attachment, meaning that she's always ethereally attached to me via the 7th chakra, which is the connection to spirit. Goddess of the moon, this is just a phase. This is just a new phase. This is a transition. And the song 1,000 Years by Christina Perri. She's been with me for 1,000 years and she'll be with me for 1,000 more. Wolfie is my spirit wolf, spirit dog, whatever you want to call her, soulmate. Soulmate. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you for listening.